The Young and the Restless spoilers. W. Desney, the 12th of August, 2026. Welcome back to our channel. It is a wild Wednesday and we have absolutely insane updates to dive into today. I was eating dinner and literally choked on my drink while watching this week's episodes because, oh my god, I'm screaming. I can't even deal right now. Okay, but listen. You guys know I get so invested in these people like they are my actual real-life friends. And this week, I am personally offended by literally every single choice being made in Genoa City right now. I had to pause and text my friend immediately because my jaw dropped to the floor and I was like, are you serious right now? The absolute audacity of these characters is sending me into a spiral, and honestly I am so dramatic about it, but you would be too if you saw what I just saw. Let's start with Nick Newman because honestly I am yelling at my screen at this man. Why would he do that? He literally just checked himself out of rehab. He told Adam he was going back, but we all knew he was lying because he immediately called his dealer. So now he is in this super depressing, dingy motel room, totally high, and he reaches into his pocket and realizes he only has 4 packets of drugs left. Fool. At this point, I'm yelling at my screen like, Nick, please, think about your children. And his phone is ringing and buzzing with text messages from Sharon and Victoria, and he is just ignoring them. The audacity. Not okay. I'm done. He just lies down on the bed and ignores his family, who are literally working overtime to save his life. So he falls asleep, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe he'll just sleep it off, but no. He goes into this massive, terrifying fentanyl nightmare that is actually one of the darkest things I've ever seen on this show. Matt Clark, who is literally the bane of my existence, and don't even get me started on that, shows up in his dream to wake him up. Matt is standing there looking all smug and says, "Welcome to your new life, rich boy." And Nick tries to act tough, saying he's going to fight the addiction, but Matt just laughs and says, "Sure." Right after this high, I am literally shaking because Matt is so right and it hurts. Matt takes Nick's car keys and says they are going for a ride to look at all the lives Nick is going to ruin. They drive to the shadow room and literally I can't breathe. They walk in, and Nick sees Sharon just completely passed out on a table. My jaw dropped. Mariah is there, screaming at Nick to stay away from her mother, saying that Nick caused this by convincing Sharon to do drugs, and now she's an addict too. Sharon wakes up and tells Nick, "You saved me from boredom, now I can be myself." I was literally crying at this point. And then Mariah says she's going to take her mom to rehab and actually stick it out, unlike Nick, who lasted 1 day. Nick tries to defend himself and says, "Mariah, I tried." And then Mariah looks at him with dead eyes and says, "I'm not Mariah, I'm Cassie." Oh my god, Cassie. I forgot to mention earlier, but Cassie's death literally ruined Nick and Sharon for years, and bringing her up in this nightmare is so unhinged. Nick is begging to know what happened to her, and Cassie is asking if her death meant nothing to him. It is so dark. Honestly, so unhinged. Oh wait, before that happened, actually Nick tries to get Sharon out of the club, and he's driving down this dark road, and suddenly Adam attacks him from the back seat with a rope, which is insane by the way. Nick crashes the car, and suddenly he is transported to the ranch. Adam and Chelsea are there, and they are absolutely livid. Nick is so confused and asks what he did, and Chelsea screams, "You killed our son!" I literally gasped out loud. Connor found Nick's drug stash, took some, and died. Chelsea tells Nick they are taking Christian away to foster care because Nick ruins everything he touches. I am sitting here on my couch just completely frozen because the psychological warfare happening in Nick's brain right now is actually destroying him. Matt isn't just a ghost, he is literally a demon living in Nick's head, convincing him that he is a monster. Then the nightmare shifts back to the shadow room, and Nick sees his dealer with a small bag of drugs. He tries to grab it, but Nikki slaps his hand away. "Nikki Newman!" She looks at him and says, "You are breaking my heart. Now you just lie to me." She tells him he has responsibilities, and she is ashamed of him. And then Victor pops up out of nowhere, which honestly jump-scared me, and yells, "And she has every right to be ashamed. You are a disgrace." Nikki tells Nick that he hurt so many people, and that she and Victor separated again because Victor blames her for what Nick has become. And then this is the part where I actually lost my mind. Nikki goes to the bar and orders a double vodka. Nick is begging her not to drink it, but she just looks at him and says, "If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for me," and downs the whole glass. Victor screams that Nick destroyed the whole family. I am literally in tears, because Nikki's sobriety is everything, and Nick knows he is the one thing that could push her over the edge. Finally, Nick is back in the motel room in his dream and Victoria is there, telling him he's hiding from being the family hero. Nick is just crying, saying he doesn't want to be an addict and he wants his life back. And then he wakes up. He wakes up for real, and there is a knock on his motel room door. He opens it, and there is this mysterious woman standing there. She says she's from the room next door, and she heard him screaming and crying. Nick tries to play it off and says he just had a nightmare and he's fine. But then this woman looks at him and says, "So, do you want to share?" Her name is Marrie Kirkland. Who is she? I'm calling it now. This is going to end badly. Mark my words. If she is staying in a dingy motel next to an addict, she is probably an addict too. They are totally going to do drugs together, and Nick is going to fall even further down the rabbit hole. She is going to be his enabler, I swear. He needs to get it together, I swear. But instead, he's going to bond with this random stranger over his trauma. Okay, where was I? Right. So moving on from Nick, because I literally can't take it anymore, we need to talk about Victoria and Kyle. Oh my god. I forgot to mention earlier, but actually no, let me just set the stage. Victoria has been working overtime to keep the peace in the Newman family. She's dealing with Nick's addiction, Nikki's blindness and recovery, and Victor being Victor. Meanwhile, Kyle is completely traumatized because Victor kidnapped his dad Jack, and Patty Williams is running around ruining lives, and Kyle literally went to jail to make a secret revenge pact with Patty to destroy Victor. So Kyle and Victoria are both stressed and traumatized, and they start sharing secrets. They are opening up to each other in a way they never have before. And then bam, a forbidden kiss. A kiss between Kyle Abbott and Victoria Newman. I'm dead. I actually cannot process this. I was pacing around my living room just ranting to myself because this is the messiest thing I have ever seen. Wait, did I already say that? Whatever. Anyway, let's just break down this family tree nightmare for a second. Kyle used to be married to Summer Newman. Summer is Victoria's niece. Then Kyle was dating Claire Grace Newman. Claire is Victoria's daughter. And now Kyle is kissing Victoria? He is literally kissing his recent ex-girlfriend's mother, who is also his ex-wife's aunt. The absolute unhinged nature of this is sending me to orbit. Why would he do that? Why would she do that? Victoria is usually so composed, but she is just trauma bonding with this younger guy who hates her father. And Kyle is just seeking comfort from a powerful woman because his own mother Diane is spiraling and his dad is traumatized. But Claire? Claire is going to absolutely lose her mind. She needs to get it together, I swear. But how do you even process your mum making out with the guy you just broke up with? If Claire walks in on them, or finds out, she might actually revert to her old crazy ways. And don't even get me started on Victor. If Victor finds out that his precious daughter Victoria is swapping spit with an Abbott, specifically the Abbott who is plotting against him with Patty Williams, Victor will literally have a heart attack. He will explode. I am so here for the drama, but also I am terrified for everyone involved. And speaking of people who are completely unhinged right now, Devon Winters is about to make a surprise announcement and I am shaking in my boots. Devon has been so mad at Mariah lately, completely unforgiving about the whole Dominic kidnapping thing from years ago, and it is ruining his marriage to Abby. Abby is literally exhausted and seeking comfort from Daniel Romalotti of all people. So what is Devon's announcement going to be? Is he announcing a divorce? Is he suing for sole custody? Is he kicking Abby out? He is acting so irrational lately, and this announcement is going to completely blindside his family. I am yelling at my screen every time he comes on because he just needs to go to therapy and stop taking his anger out on everyone around him. And then Lily is over here giving Nate Hastings career advice. Nate is seriously considering going back to being a surgeon, which, honestly, is a massive life-changing decision. He was a brilliant doctor before he ruined his hand and became this ruthless corporate suit. But seeing Nikki's bandages come off and her still being blind really affected him. He wants to help people again. Lily is encouraging him to take the leap. And I actually love this for him, but I know he's going to feel so torn between the corporate power he has now and the medical passion he used to have. But Lily also has her own mess, because her romance with Kane Ashby is heating up again. Kane! The man who literally extorted his way back into the company using his bone marrow to save Malcolm. It is so toxic, but also they have so much chemistry I can't even look away. Billy and Kane are supposed to be calling a truce to run Chancellor together for Jill. But Billy is going to lose his mind when he sees Kane and Lily getting romantic again. Honestly, this whole week is just a massive roller coaster of trauma and bad decisions. Nick is doing drugs with a random motel woman, Victoria is kissing her daughter's ex-boyfriend, Devon is about to blow up his family, and Victor is probably plotting 10 different murders in his head. I am literally exhausted just watching it, but I also cannot wait for tomorrow's episode. I'm calling it now. This is going to end badly for literally everyone.